Hey guys, this is Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we're on the test server looking at new champions that have just dropped. They're going to be coming into the game tomorrow alongside the new fusion. It's an old school fusion. We've got 4 new rares, which I guess are going to be in blocks of 4 so that you can collect them potentially 4 different times to build up to the epics. It's a bit like the Razin fusion that you get. 4 rares into 4 epics. So we've got the 4 new epics to talk about here as well. Then the legendary comes out. I've got to say, it feels like there's some pretty juicy champions in this group. And then there's 2 new legendary champions as well. Honestly, both of them could be kind of meta changes. So juicy champions coming in this drop. Let's get in and take a look. So as I say, I'm on the test server. I'm able to kind of showcase different abilities, different champions, that type of stuff. I'm going to stream this tonight. I'm back to streaming as of tonight, 8 p.m. UK time. I think that's 3 p.m. EST. Hades TV on Twitch. I'll ping it down below if you want to come and join us. But we're going to try out some of these new champions and kind of see what they're all up to. And gives us a good flavor of which of these should we go for if you're not going for the main fusion. And also, are they going to change anything in the game for us? So let's start, I guess, with the big boy fusion. For me, Tatura Rimehide, this is the main event. I think he's the best fusion champion we've had since Brogni. I think he's up there as almost like a must get, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a flipping solid champion. He looks cool. Some people don't like the look of this guy. I think he looks really cool. Does he look like a high elf? I kind of get the point that maybe he doesn't, albeit, yeah, I feel like it's almost, it's almost like the mount of the elves, that type of kind of feel to it if you're going with, that kind of old school lore. But anyway, I think he looks sweet. Should he be a skinwalker? I don't know. Just because he's an animal doesn't mean he necessarily should be a skinwalker. But there you go. He looks freaking cool. I think he's one of my favorite looking champions in the game. But let's get into what he can do. So A1 is a decrease accuracy 100% if booked. Solid. And it hits for a decent amount. I've done a little bit of testing on him already. Hits for a decent number. So Tatura's got a decent A1. His A2 books down to 3 turn cooldown. This is massive. So a block debuffs and an increased defense on all allies, 2 turns, 3 turn cooldown. That makes him very useful for almost all content, honestly. Almost all content. A 2 turn block debuff is so big right now. Hydra, Clan Boss, Doom Tower, Faction Wars. Yeah, there's not really a place where this skill doesn't become strong. And because his damage is all done off of defense, he's actually boosting his own damage with the increased defense as well. It's all tying together nicely. And then we've got the A3, attacks all enemies, perfect veil on all allies except him. Yeah, so again, think about Hydra. Kind of, there's not enough full team perfect veil champions that do other stuff. So this guy is going to be up there as like a must get champion, in my opinion. This is also good generally. Yeah, you put perfect veil out, and you reduce the damage that everybody takes. Yes, you've got increased defense on one thing, perfect veil on another. It is a solid ability. This one books down to 4 turns. So he won't veil himself. Obviously, he becomes a target. He's a defensive unit with a lot of health. He's a tank. So that makes some good sense as well. But also places a shield buff on him for 2 turns equal to 20% of the damage that he does. I tell you now, this ability, an AoE, is the second hardest defense-based ability for an AoE. That's a lot to get out there in the game. Yeah, you've got Solus, Tatura. Number 2. Yeah, so this hits. And the great thing about that is because it hits, you get a big old shield. 20% of the damage you do becomes your shield. So I feel like this guy is a really good champion. Also, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. Yes, Plarium, finally a fusion that isn't 20 odd books or something crazy. This is what we want to see from fusion champions. Loads of utility, loads of places that they can play, and freaking good kit, not crazy books. This is what we want. So for me, this guy is like a must get if you can get him. He's also got this passive here. So when attacked, reflects 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker. This is a War Chief reflect rather than a Brogni reflect. Yeah, you're not getting like crazy Giant Slayer damage going on, all that type of stuff. Unfortunately, you've got more like the little kind of pew pew. Doesn't really do a lot to PvE content, in PvP, it can hit pretty hard. Yeah, because it's reflecting straight up 30% of what you're doing. But the reason why this doesn't hit that hard is because it reflects it after mitigated damage. So that's why the war chiefs of this world and that type of thing, they're not that great because it's after the mitigated damage. So yeah, it's an okay passive. But the second part of it, I think, is the better part. Also, 30% chance of placing a freeze on the attacker for a turn. So any wave content, it's just got a chance to proc a freeze. It's okay. The passive's probably the least cool part of his kit, in my opinion. I guess something like the reflect is nice for, Fire Knight if you're trying to break shields. Reflect damage is good. But again, it's only on him. When attacked, reflects 30%. So it's only on him. So you're not going to get like loads of reflected hits to bring down the shield. It's actually just a kind of nothing part of the passive, in my opinion. The aura is Doom Tower only, which is a shame as well. It's a shame it's not all battles, but still solid, still okay. It's a 35% defense aura. It's solid numbers. It's just a shame it's not all battles. But there you go. This guy, I think he's good. If you look at his base stats, 102 speed. I like it. Anything above 100, I'm enjoying. 1.4k defense is good, especially when you put it with his multiplier and he does good damage. And then a good amount of health as well. So building him as an absolute tank, as a unit, will be pretty easy to do. So yes, Tatura, first one up, freaking good. Let's see what builds into him. Let's start with the rares, I guess, and then we'll move into the epics. So first of the new rares, we've got Castigator. I feel I don't know who he looks like, but he feels strangely familiar to me. I don't know. Maybe it was an uncle or something. I don't know. He looks familiar from like, I don't know, some sort of film maybe, something like that. But I mean, again, they always knock it out of the park with the visuals. But this guy, for a rare, he looks awesome, doesn't he? He looks really cool. So Sacred Order, rare. A Provoke on his A1. So we get a bit of utilities. An HP-based champion, 19 odd K health, not bad. 95 speed, not bad. Bit low on the defense, but it's okay. So he's a kind of like tanky unit, but from an HP perspective instead of defense. Provoke on an A1 is okay. Magma Dragon really just kind of stands out to me there. Or Faction Wars if you're trying to deal with somebody. But, at 35, 40% if booked, it's okay. This skill, though, for a rare, this is a great skill for a rare. This makes me think he is going in a lot of Faction War teams, especially because it's not dependent on him being like level 60 or something. He can do this same skill if he's a 50, which just kind of screams Faction Wars to me. So heals the ally with the lowest HP by 20% of this champion's max health. Yeah, so if you pump him up to, let's say, a 60k health champion, you get a 20% heal. So it's all based on, you control it is what I'm trying to say. You control how big this heal will be. I like that. Then equalizes HP levels of all allies and gives him another turn. So it's on a 4-turn cooldown if you book it. It's basically on a 3-turn cooldown because he gets an extra turn as well. And this skill is great. It's a massive healing ability. Sonatia's got something similar, and it's a crazy heal. The equalizes HP thing is massive because you're healing the person who's kind of taking the most damage, but also you're spreading all of your team's HPs across the board. It just means that you keep people alive really well. This is a great ability. And then he's got a passive as well. Receives 15% less damage from enemies under Provoke. So again, if he's being your like Magma Dragon Provoker, which is, he could do that, he'll take a bit less damage when he's taking hits. I think that's a good rare. I think that's a good addition to the game, certainly for Faction Wars, or a little bit of utility outside of that. Next one up, Misericord. I mean, she looks pretty miserable. I'll give it that. Perhaps they ran out of budget a little bit on this one. So A1 attacks 2 times, decreased speed, small version. It's not bad. Oh, sorry, the big version, decreased speed, but a low chance to place it. It's actually not a bad A1. Don't mind it. A double hit. Each hit's got a chance, 25% chance to place it. It's actually not bad, thinking about it. 25% chance to place the big, decreased speed for a rare. We'll take that. A2 AoE ability fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each living enemy. It's an interesting one. So, you know, against Spider, I guess you get a ton of turn meter. Against any other wave content, you're gaining like 20% turn meter. 3-turn cooldown, AoE, put her in a stun set. I guess she could do a bit of work. And then the A3 places counterattack and increased attack on this champion is a bit selfish. Misery Cord. I guess the decreased speed alongside the counterattack is okay. This is okay in a stun set, but pretty bang average. Pretty bang average rare. Itinerant. Shadowkin, new rare. Can we see his face? Not quite. Shadowkin, another rare. What we got here? Leech A1, I like. 30% chance of placing a Leech. It increases to 50 if it's a crit. Everything about his kit is put him with some crit and he does more. Yeah, if you look at his base stats, very slow, honestly. Hate seeing anyone less than 95 speed. 1-3-5-4 attack. Very squishy. So this guy's going to be hard to keep alive, but I guess you're going to build him for damage and maybe he hits. We'll see. But yeah, places a Leech, 50% if he's got some crit rate going on. AoE A2. If booked, 75% chance of putting a small decreased speed. Also gives you a small increased speed on this champion if he crits. So pretty selfish again. AoE drop speed's okay. But the small version, it's kind of like, well, needs a bit more really. And in the A3, attacks an enemy, decreases the enemy's max HP if it's a crit. I think this guy, his Leech is nice if you're kind of looking for that heal ability, but the rest of his kit is probably not strong enough to be like, I really need this dude for some content, you know? On to the last of the rares then, Ordinator. A few of the guys were saying it looks like Gaelic and Kale have had a baby, and this is what popped out. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. Cool markings. Dark Elf. We've got an A1 with a freeze, 25% chance to place it, so not a bad A1. A2, this guy gets a bit more interesting. So right now we don't have a bomb meta. Okay, we don't have it. Raid are desperately trying to make bombs relevant in this game. Yeah, and I'm going to do a video on Bommel using bombs soon. But yeah, Raid are trying to make bombs relevant. So I guess it's a watch this space because the more they buff it, eventually there'll be a tipping point where it's like, you know what? We're going to use bombs. This guy, what, 80% chance of placing a bomb on all enemies that detonates after 2. It's not bad for a rare 3-turn cooldown. But this is quite interesting. So when attacked, 30% chance of decreasing all bomb debuff detonation countdowns on the attacker by a turn. So if you're parenting with other bomb champions, then potentially, you know, let's say you put one out there for 2 turns. They have a turn, props it down to 1. They hit him and it explodes potentially. So it's a cool passive which could get some utility somewhere down the line. I don't see people using him right now, but somewhere down the line this could end up being interesting. Right now he's got no place in the game, really. So you know, all of these 4 feed into the epics. Let's get into the epics then for the fusion. See if any of these kind of stand out to me. There's a couple which I like actually. So Masamoto. Again, like knocking it out the park with the visuals on this one for me. This is a freaking cool looking dude. I don't know if he can see, so maybe his abilities won't be that strong. Look at the armor though. Look at the detail in this. It's so cool. This is where Raid literally don't have any competition. They don't have anyone close to what they do visually. It's freaking awesome. Well done, Raid. Again, this epic looks sweet. It looks so cool. So A1, double hitter, 10% chance of stealing a random buff. Goes up to 30. Defense based, what was his stats like? 98 speed's good. Decent defense, decent HP. This is a good defensive unit in terms of stats. And then we've got a double hitter with a chance to steal a buff. It's an okay A1. A2, AoE drop attack. 50% goes up to 75, replacing decreased attack. Honestly, on an epic nowadays, you kind of want 100% when booked. Yeah, you've got someone like a Stag Knights throwing out decreased defense and decreased attack. Duke doing the same. You know, you've got plenty of people doing these skills 100%. So throwing out a 75 kind of just doesn't cut it in today's raid. This is almost like the skill level of going back a while. So this doesn't do damage as well. It's kind of like, you know, is it enough? Is it enough to make him relevant? I don't know if, we'll have a look in a minute actually, if there's any other Shadowkins that do that AoE decrease attack. This though is nice. So increased defense buff on all allies. He's defense based. He's buffing his own damage. And a turn meter fill by 15%. 4-turn cooldown. So this is okay for building into like the fusion champion, yeah? A defense based nuker. You want increased defense and you want turn meter fill. There are a few others that do it already. A good one, which I showcased in a video just recently, Doomstreech, who's a rare. Yeah, when he's doing it, he's giving you a 30% turn meter fill, a big increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Yeah, so that's a rare, albeit, you know, best in class. This guy, higher cooldown, worse turn meter fill. It's like, which one's the rare? Which one's the rare? So unless this is an absolute cannon of a nuke, this guy is weak for an epic. So I wouldn't be too fussed. We will test him out, I guess. Maybe we'll show that one on stream. But yeah, at the moment, he's feeling pretty weak for an epic. So Visionary then. Visionary, Dark Elf, Spirit Affinity. So we've got an A1, attacks an enemy. And let's just have a quick look at stats, actually. 98 speed's okay. Decent amount of defense. Okay, attack. So it's a support unit. You want it to be able to stay alive. Pretty sexy. I don't know about the sort of bug eyes thing going on here. But anyway. A1. Attacks an enemy. 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. This goes up to 100% chance to do it if they're under a decreased crit rate or decreased crit damage, which she does. Again, like, you're just considering her against the people that we use for this skill right now. Where's my armager? Show you from there. You know, this is the champion that we use to do this type of thing right now. Yeah? This is the one. A 30% decreases turn meter by 30% if he crits. Yeah, so pretty easy to turn it on. Decreases by 30%. Whereas this one's decreases by 15% if it's like, come on. It's not enough if you're trying to compare it against what we use. So this A1's not really that strong. AoE though, AoE, A2, 3-turn cooldown, puts decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage on all enemies. Okay. The only place really where this becomes super relevant is PvP, and I can't see it being used in, well, maybe she will be used in PvP because of this. Increased crit rate, increased crit damage on all allies, and a turn meter fill. That's kind of nice. So you're giving yourself 30% more crit rate and more crit damage and a turn meter fill. So it's almost like you go second in the arena champion, or you'll go first, actually. What's her aura? Dungeons. That's a shame. But it's almost like you throw into your arena team. She goes first, fills your turn meters, gives you your buffs to do more damage, means you need less stats here, and therefore you blow people up for more damage. So that's actually a really, really good skill with a 3-turn cooldown. This is an AoE, it's not bad, and this one is okay with an aura for dungeons. I think she's actually a solid epic. Thinking about it, I think she's actually a pretty damn solid epic, mainly because this skill comes in as, you know, double buffs as well if you're trying to do like a seer comp. Yeah, I like this. This skill is really nice. So this skill great, this skill good, this skill's okay. With an okay aura, I think she'll be a decent epic. So if you're not going for the legendary champion because you can't, this would probably be the one I'd hone in on as the epic. Let's check out the next one then. Umitogi. Sure, I've said that wrong. I apologize. I don't say all the things right. What we got here? Double hitter. I have tested this champion. 20% chance of inflicting a crit if she's under a veil. So additional 20%. She's got a double hitter again on the A2. Ignores 20% defense. That's nice. Has an additional 20% chance of inflicting a crit again if she's under a veil. And then this A3 puts perfect veil on her and increased speed. And gives her a turn meter fill of 40%. So it's basically like, I'm doing this. I'm trying to pump myself forward. And then when I get going, I'm going to try and do some work with these single target hitters. Yeah, so far, I'm like that. Mediocre, yeah? Mediocre. You have to rely on this. By that time, you're not getting another turn before everyone else starts going. And it's kind of like, you're probably going to be dead. I've seen the damage that she does with this A1 and A2. and it's okay damage, not crazy. If it was crazy, the next part of her kit, I'd have been like, damn, this is a crazy champion, yeah? Because this passive is awesome, yeah? Whenever this champion is attacked, completely blocks the first hit. The damage becomes 0, then counterattacks with array 1. That part of her kit is really cool. It's a very cool part of her kit. When attacking the boss, it's a 50% chance to counter, but it's on a 2-turn cooldown if booked. So you can't constantly keep doing it. So the idea is, I guess, you know, you've got someone like, let's say you've got someone like, I don't know, who's a single target that people might use? Maybe a Candy. Yeah, Candy's coming at you. He smacks. You take 0 damage from the smack. You counterattack and you try and pop Candy. Yeah, and if you pop him, nice. You've taken no damage and he's in the dirt. So that would be awesome if this smacked, but it doesn't smack enough, I don't think. I'll do a bit more testing maybe tonight on stream again, but this one feels like it's kind of like mid-tier damage. I guess it had to be, otherwise she'd be a bit broken, but because this has got a cooldown, you know, you could get any old champion giving you a hit. You could have Warlord, who is lockout ability on you. That counts as the hit. You blocked the nothing damage, but you still get this put on cooldown before the actual damage dealer comes in. So I'm not sure about it. I guess outside of Arena, maybe it's got a bit more utility, but I don't feel like it's going to get a lot of use. Crit rate in all battles by 15. Pretty trash, really. So I'm not that fond of this. I think she's okay. And then the fourth one then, Broodlord. We've got a Lizardman here. Kind of feels a bit Murlocy to me. But anyway, nice looking champ again. Maybe a little bit bland. A1 double hitter. Each hit, chance of placing provoke if the target's under decreased speed. Yeah, so it goes up to 2 hitter, 50% chance each hit to place provoke if decreased speed is out there. Again, it's kind of like, I guess you're not going to have decreased speed on a Magma Dragon, so the provoke becomes a bit useless there. Don't know, where do you then put it? I'm not sure really. A2, ally protection on an ally, one ally, then block debuffs on that ally for a turn. Also shield this champion for 2 turns. So single target protection, I don't love. Unless it's on someone broken like a net crit. And then we've got an AoE ability here. 40% books to 50 chance of placing a stun for a turn. There's not many epics that have got an AoE stun, honestly. And a 50% chance to do it is okay. The chance increased to 75 if they're under a decreased speed. Yeah, so I guess AoE drop speed would be the way to start to get this stuff away. I mean, going up to an 85% chance to place an AoE stun is actually massive. Yeah, it's massive, but its passive here doesn't do enough to put the decreased speeds out, I think, quickly enough to make that super relevant. So you probably would need someone else with him with decreased speed. But this passive is interesting. So whenever this champion's attacked, or whenever someone under ally protection buffs are attacked, it doesn't say ally protection buffs that he's placed. He only places 1. It doesn't say that he's placed. So it could be that you can use a different ally protection buff champion, and then whenever this champion or anyone else is attacked under ally protection, chance to put the decreased speed out there, 45%. It's an interesting passive. I don't think it's good enough for me to be like, damn, this guy is insane. But he's an interesting champ. I don't really know. I can't picture in my head like where I would say that's where I use him for this one. The aura is defense in all battles, which is good. So this guy's okay. But for me, so far, Visionary stands out as the best epic. But I'm absolutely gunning for the Legendary. The Legendary in this one is like top tier Legendary for me, or a very strong tier Legendary. The epics feel pretty mid tier. The rares feel decent for rares, but you know, you can pick rares up pretty easily in the game. So that is the Fusion Champions. Yeah, you're going to have 4 of the rares into the 4 epics, and then 4 epics into the Legendary. So just bear in mind, we've got, what, 1 Force, 1 Magic, 1 Spirit. Where was the other one? Was the Ninja dude? Void? No. Not even, is it? It's another Spirit. So we've got 2 Spirit Champions. So for this Old Skull Fusion, you need the potions to ascend people. Yeah, so you're going to need to over indulge on the spirit potions to be able to get this job done. Yeah, you need quite a lot, actually, to do all of these different epics and stuff. So just bear that in mind. And for the rares, again, you need to collect your potions, albeit it's much easier for rares. And that's going to be 2 force, 2 magic. Yeah, so we actually don't need any void pre-work done to get this done. So let's talk about then the last 2 new legendaries. And honestly, damn, there is some cool stuff going on with these legendaries. So we've got ourselves I think she is force. Yeah, look at this champion. Woo! This champion looks amazing. Like, how cool does this champion look? I guess she's like the rider. Yeah, the rider to go alongside this new lion dude that we've got. She's got the kind of lion on the shield. Freaking cool looking champion. Damn. Good work. Good work, player. This one looks freaking amazing. Yeah, really love the skin on this one. Woo, nice. So what's going on? We've got fast, high defense, high HP, defense-based champion. This champion is broken, but it's not broken. This champion is awesome, by the way. A1, 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Goes up to 50. It's not bad. Also applies a debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff, place it on all enemies under freeze. It's actually a pretty cool A1, albeit you've got to get someone else to put like a full team freeze out there for this to kind of work. Then you're just spreading 1 debuff, which can end up being a bit random. It's an A1. What can we say? It's an A1. You can't expect too much more from an A1, but it does become a bit random. The A2, AoE ability, places weaken on all allies, all enemies for 2 turns. Also steals a random buff if there's freeze out there. Defense-based, 3-turn cooldown on this one. And I guess we'll see tonight, does this smack or not? Doesn't even matter. It's a cool ability. And in the A3 here, 4-turn cooldown if booked. Places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. Great ability. Also, 60% goes up to 80 of placing freeze on all enemies for a turn. Fills this champion's turn meter by 15% for each freeze placed by this. So in the arena, you've got like a 60% turn meter fill, plus you're freezing everyone. Yeah? This is massive. And you're putting block debuffs on your own team. Such a cool ability, this one. To pair it with this, with a chance to steal buffs as well once you get the freeze out there. Yeah, it's all kind of coming together. But then this is where it gets crazy. This passive is an awesome passive. This is what, you know, where I was like talking about Alexander, and I was like, he just needs a funky passive to make him an interesting champion. Otherwise, he's so bland. This is the type of funky passive I'm talking about. Defense-based champion, easier to keep alive. This champion's skills cannot be put on cooldown. If it was just that line, if there was nothing else to this passive, that's cool, by the way. Yeah? Whenever an enemy tries to put either this champion's skills on or an ally's on cooldown, places a freeze on that enemy. Also, a 50% chance of denying the cooldown increase effect. I'm just wondering who she's meant to counter. We finally got a Warlord potential counter. Yeah, that's what this is. Warlord dominates the arena, especially Plat. Dominates it. This is the counter to Warlord, or the best version of a counter to Warlord we have seen so far. Yeah? Glissea, Soul Guide, should just be called Anti-Warlord. Very cool ability. 50-50. In Arena, especially Plat, you're trying to find RNG ways to win defense battles, yeah? Warlord is everywhere in Plat. A 50-50 plus freezes going out there. I love this ability. It's very cool. The freeze cannot be blocked or resisted. No accuracy required, my friends. Will not deny cooldown increases from bosses. So this won't work against the dragon that locks you out. But yeah, so damn, that is a cool passive right there. Really love it. Just thinking here, so you've got freeze, weaken, so you do need accuracy for the rest of the kit, you don't need freeze. You don't need accuracy for this part of the kit. So I'd be interested to see how people do build her, whether they build her with the accuracy or not. I guess everything else, like if you're going to try and place the freezes, if you're going to try and steal buffs, that's quite a big part of a kit. So I guess you are going to be looking to put accuracy into a kit, but you could not and just rely on this freeze proccing. I guess you don't need accuracy for the ability of not being locked out. I can't see that you need accuracy for that because it's affecting you, not affecting someone else. So yeah, this passive is awesome. And then resisting all battles aura as well is good. But yeah, that's a champion right there. That is a brilliant new champion in the game. So we got her, and then we got one more. This is the dude that empowers Ramantu. Yeah, so it was the new dude coming in. Chagor. Looks okay. Looks pretty cool, I guess. Looks a bit weak. He's a Void Legendary Lizardman. Yeah. This guy's got a nutty kit as well. He's really got a cool kit. So he is quick. He's got good attack. Pretty squishy-ish. Very low base HP. So he's kind of killable. This A1 is one of the nuttiest A1s when you pair it with his passive. Honestly, it's bonkers. So A1 attacks an enemy. Booked out, 75% chance of placing a sleep. Void champion, so there's no negative affinity here. It's just a straight up, if you've got enough accuracy, 75% chance of sleeping someone that you A1. Bear that in mind for when we get to the passive, right? A2, AoE ability, attacks 2 times. It's always good. It means you can take out a Rotus or whatever. The first hit, chance of placing a poison for 4 turns. The second hit, it's 100%, by the way. Chance of placing decreased defense. So you've got an AoE drop defense that also poisons. 3-turn cooldown. Beautiful. You've then got an A3, attacks one enemy, and then attacks another one at random. This hits pretty hard. Not nuts. And this one hits pretty hard as well, but not nuts. Kind of like a Saito AoE ability damage. Close to an Ethos AoE damage, I guess, is A2. If the target's sorry, what am I doing here? A3. So he attacks one person, then another one at random. If the target's under poison from his A2, will ignore shield, block damage, and unkillable. Yeah, so sorry, Leo, you're going down anyway. Sorry, the tower, we're just hitting right through you. Sorry, anyone with shields, we don't care about those. This is a pretty cool ability to have 2 hits. Pick one out, you're going down. Pick another one out at random, they're going down. Grants an extra turn if he kills an enemy. So you've got 2 chances to kill someone with this. Extra turn if he does kill someone. Also resets the cooldown of Venom Storm. Yeah, if he kills 2. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But it's not nutty damage. It's good damage, but not nutty. If it was nutty damage, this guy would be straight to the top of the list. Like, crazy. But he is crazy anyway. His passive then, look at this. Instantly attacks enemies with the default A1 whenever they receive damage from poison debuffs placed by this dude. So he's got to get his A2 out there first. The way this works, I've already tested it. Poison is about to proc. Yeah. The poison procs. Then this guy sweeps in A1s, freezes us, and sleeps before the enemy gets a chance. Sorry, let me go through the order again. Poison procs, they take damage from the poison. Yeah. He sweeps in, A1 sleeps them before they get a chance to move. They miss their turn. It's so nuts. It's like a Sifi Zapper, but from a counterattack. And there's no cooldown on it. So you can actually do it to the whole enemy team. It's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. He has to get his A2 out there first. But as long as he lands the poison, then damn, this guy is literally kicking people in the balls. Like, they've got nothing they can do. Unless they've got block debuffs on them, they are taking a sleep. It's, well, 75% chance. It's a crazy passive, this one. I love it. This is what Void Legendary should look like when they come out. It's like potential game changers. This guy is awesome. I can't see anyone feeding him into a Ramantu. Honestly, it's so cool. When hitting enemies under poison, heals by 10%. All of this booking here is nonsense. So I fed it back and they were like, no, that's nonsense. So he gets a bit of a heal as well from the hits. But there you go, guys. 11 new champions. Pretty crazy one. Like, really good additions to the game, I think. Especially the fusion. I think it's going to be great for, honestly, new players that can get him. People that have been playing the game for a while. End-game players. I think everyone's got a use for this guy. So, if you can do it, if you've got the time, if you've got the resources, get on board. Get yourself doing it. When he gets launched tomorrow, I'll kind of do an update video around, you know, how to go after this guy, and I will do a guide within the next 24 hours showcasing him in different places as well, because I think people are going to want to see it nice and early. But this for me is well worth it, well worth the effort on this one. Harder, we know these type of fusions are harder, but this one is going to be a good one. So there you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you later.